What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? This is the College Morning Show coming for you from the Sports Wave Network. Here you got your host, Coach Dante, aka the Librarian, and I got my guy right here, aka BC fan, my boy Chris. Man, how you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome, man. How the BC Boston College going, man?
We're doing okay. I think right now we're 2-3. So I think this week is a great week to get back on track. I really feel confident that we're making a bowl game. So that's my only goal for the season right now. Is
Yeah,
bowl game.
feeling you. We got Key in the building. Appreciate you, Key. Thank y'all. If y'all don't know, I have been on the weather cup lately, but feeling great, man. Let's go ahead and do it, man. Let's go ahead and do it. We got the big Red River rivalry today. We got some big games today. So me and Chris is gonna break it down. And speaking of that Red River rivalry, we got the Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma Sooners. Last Texas Longhorns beat them 50-0 last year. It felt like could have been more than that if Steve Sark didn't take his foot off the gas in that game. It could have been more than that. We all know Oklahoma defense was bad. They had Gabriel last year, and I think Gabriel was hurt all last year. So, how close of a game do you see this going today, Chris?
Well, I look at this game two ways. I look at the spread, which is 7 touchdown. Oklahoma is severely underrated. They're undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas last week showed me a lot. I was high on Kansas. I thought Kansas was going to come in and win the game. But, I mean, part of it is because Kansas did start a backup quarterback, and I do believe the game would have been closer.
Yeah.
But some might argue that the backup's better than the starter at Kansas. But, overall, I think this game is really interesting. This is a huge game for NFL scouts to evaluate both Gabriel and Ewers and see
Yep.
who's ahead of who. But I got Oklahoma winning this game, actually. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, 35-32 Oklahoma.
Got you on that one. Like you said, it's gonna be a close ball game. We'll get since you already gave me a prediction on that right now. So I do got Texas winning this game. I think it's gonna be a close game than what it is. But this is also a big game for both of these teams because if both of these teams, and especially Texas, we had number three. So for both of these teams, whoever win this game could be the front runner for the Big 12 to win the Big 12. Could be the front runner to win the Big 12. And for Texas, they can go undefeated. Probably can make the college football playoff. But both of these teams are good, man. Both of these teams are good. Want to talk about? Want to get into Michigan? Is Michigan by far the best team in the Big Ten? And if they're not, or if they are, give me a team that can possibly beat the Michigan Wolverines.
I mean, right now, Michigan is so dominant. Because I thought, honestly, last week when Michigan beat Nebraska, I was like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like a fluke win. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think Nebraska was that good. But the way Nebraska played last night, I was like, okay, they're legit. And that means Michigan has to be really legit. The fact they shut them out. Nebraska had 4 trips inside the 10-yard line, and they couldn't get any points.
Yeah,
Like, that's domination at a different level for Michigan. So right now, I think Michigan is the clear-cut best team in the Big Ten. I would go as far as saying Michigan is the number 1 team in the country. I
okay.
would take Michigan over Georgia right now, honestly.
All right. But give me what team that you think, if you in your mind in the Big Ten that has a shot to beat Michigan, and Cade McNamara will be out for the season. Unfortunately for him, he tore his ACL up. But give me a team that you think that can hang with Michigan in the Big Ten. That's a possible that you say, okay, I think this team can go out there and beat them.
Well, with Caden McNamara in Iowa, I mean, I think Caden McNamara stinks anyway. So
I
honestly, it's not a big loss for them at all.
know a person who's high on them too. Like, but go ahead.
But yeah, no. Right now Penn State. I think when Michigan goes on the road to Penn State, that's a trap game for Michigan. I
Yeah.
think Penn State can win that. That's the only team though.
Yeah. So we got George. Will Georgia slow start cost them a game this year? I feel like this is the point. This is the year that Georgia could lose a game. They could lose a game in the SEC. But Chris, what team would beat them if they was to lose a game in the SEC?
Yeah, I think today against Kentucky, that's the hardest game in their schedule. You could argue Tennessee and Missouri are tough games as well. Ole Miss, they have to play Ole Miss. But all the, at Georgia, when you play at Georgia, it makes a huge difference. I know everyone says that about, every team. But right now, I think my biggest thing is my team would be Kentucky. I think Kentucky can beat them today. I really do. Kentucky has great defense and they have good offense and they have a good quarterback. Georgia almost lost the game, but Auburn's quarterback is one of the, or if not the worst quarterback in the SEC. So I think Devin Leary at Kentucky has the potential to beat them. Also, one thing I need to mention is Carson Beck, as inconsistent as some may have think he is, he still has a 79.2 quarterback rating, which is
Yeah,
top in the country. So he's not a first round pick by any means, but he's still playing well. So
gotcha. Cool McCain in the building. Cool McCain. How about them Hurricanes? Cool McCain. So again, Cool McCain in the building. So recap. I'm gonna recap some of the games from last week. We had the big Notre Dame game versus Duke. They beat with it to beat Duke 21-14. Sam Hartman had not had didn't have a solid game, didn't have a good game at all. But he did enough to win. 15 of 30, 222 yards. We got Esame had 2 touchdowns, including probably the game winning touchdown. And you had Mitchell Evans for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish last weekend. 6 for 34, six for 134 last weekend. You got Riley Leonard, 12 of 27, 134 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. You also had Riley Leonard, the leading rusher, and you had Jordan Moore last week, 4 for 67, 1 touchdown. Give me your thoughts upon this game, man. Give me your thoughts upon that game, on that Duke.
well, number one, I put a good amount of money, I
Yeah,
get paid $15 an hour. So I put 3 hours worth of money on this game. I was so confident that Duke was gonna go, win
yeah.
this game. And it was 4th and 16. And Sam Hartman somehow turned into Michael Vick, converted the 4th and 16. I was like, and then RJ Estimate, man, he is so talented. He ran in for 30-yard touchdown. And at that point, when Notre Dame took the lead, I was like, okay, whatever, not a big deal. Duke can come back and score. And Riley Leonard, he tripped up. I think he tore his ACL or something
Yeah,
real bad. And after that, I was like, okay, it's over. And he fumbled, so it was a really tough play to watch because I love Riley Leonard. I think he's really talented, but for Riley, I think this means that he has to stay in college another year. I think sometimes with the NFL, you have to prove that you can play an injury-free season, especially coming off an injury. That's why Hendon Hooker fell so low in the draft.
yeah.
I believe, and I will say this, I thought Hendon Hooker was a first-round pick.
He was gonna be a first round pick.
Yeah, because he got hurt, So I think it's the same thing with Riley. So interesting to see how that pans out. Notre Dame, though, another big matchup. Prime time. All the networks love to put Notre Dame in prime time. So they're in prime time again against Louisville. I think Louisville is a decent team, but I think last week was a huge momentum swing for Notre Dame. They needed that.
They definitely agree with you. We did both pick Duke. We did put both pick Duke because these are the type of games, Notre Dame do lose right here. You never know. Never know. This week, probably the type of game they do, but hey, we'll see. We had LSU and Ole Miss. Probably was the best game of the day. 55-49. Man, Jaden Daniels, man, played awesome in this game. I mean, no, he's coming out of the draft. Don't think he would be a first round pick. Think he will be a later round pick. But hey, man, Jaden Daniels, 27-36, 414 yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. Love Jaden Daniels on that. Logan Diggs, 19 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. We had Brian Thomas Jr., 8 catches, 100. in 24 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Malik Neighbors. He's definitely Malik Davis definitely may be a first round pick in the NFL draft. The star receiver from LSU, he had 8 catches, 102 yards, man, for the LSU Tigers in a loss. In a win, Jackson Dart, 26 of 39, 389 yards, 4 tubs. You had Quentin Jukins had 33 carries, 177 yards, 1 touchdown. And also you had the Bentley, the backup running back, 90 for 90 yards for a TD as well. And you have Trey Harris, 8 for 153, 1 touchdown. You also had Jordan Watkins, 105 for 103 in a tub. You also had Dayton Wade, 7 for 64, 1 touchdown. Give me your thoughts, Chris, about this game. This was the game of the day. That was the game of the day last week.
Man, LSU. I mean, I don't know what to say about LSU. I was so high on them winning this game, but Ole Miss, man, they came in and they wanted it, man. Jackson Dart played a great game. My biggest thing is Jaden Daniels. He's proven to me that he's a first round pick without a doubt. His completion percentage. Can we just talk about that? 73%. That is absolutely insane to be playing the SEC and having a 73% completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So just by looking at that, it's crazy. He has a higher quarterback rating than he did last year already. He is on his way to becoming a first round pick. I think it's between him and Michael Penix for the QB2 spot right now. And I think you could argue, if you were a scout, would you take Jaden Daniels over Drake May? I think that's a legitimate conversation.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm liking Jaden that much that I would go Jaden. But, I think LSU has a lot to prove. This is like, they're already out of the playoff. You could argue that, but Missouri is a great team. Missouri is an insanely good team, man. Brady Cook is a great quarterback. Like, watch out for Missouri. So I'm really excited to tune into this game today.
Yeah. So we go Malik Neighbors, their best receiver, their star wide receiver. We know it's a busload of receivers coming out in the NFL draft. This receiver class pretty wild. It's pretty deep. Where did he stand at for you? Far as coming out of the draft, being in the, we know he's maybe a first round pick. Well, if it's early, probably in the mid-teens or the mid-20s. Where do you see him stacking up against the best receivers that's coming out in the draft? Where do you see Malik Neighbors stacking up?
Malik is a second round pick to me. Not that because he doesn't have the talent, because he has a history of off the field issues. He was arrested in the offseason. And you know how NFL scouts are about those things, man. They don't like that. So Malik's a second round pick, but he'll be a steal. He's gonna be like Tyreek Hill. Whatever team he goes to, he's gonna make an automatic impact. So I got him in the middle second round. I could see him going somewhere like Washington or maybe even late end, maybe even to the Patriots. Who knows? So
got you. So I keep botching this dude named the running back from Ole Miss. I don't how you say his name. How you actually say the man's name?
I think it's Quindarius Judkins. I think.
Okay. Oh, so Quindarius Juggins. Is he really like that? Is he really like that? It was one of the best running backs in the country.
I mean, he is insanely good. Watching him last week, for me, when I look at a running back that makes an impact, I look at Ray Davis from Kentucky. Last week, he rushed for 280 yards. And I look at the only issue, if you look at his carries, he had 33 carries and he had 177 yards. He's only averaging 5.4 yards per carry. So that to me is a little, it's because he's getting high volume of carries. And LSU has a terrible run defense. LSU has a horrible run defense. So, I think he's really good, but he's a third round pick in my eyes, not a first round pick.
Got you. So we talk about we go from now and we go to Colorado. Well, the moment we thought it was gonna be like, here we go again. It was for to be this blowout ball game. Colorado fights back. Shedeur Sanders fights back in the game, and Caleb Williams was unstoppable early. But his overall stats, um, 30 of 40, 403 yards, 6 tubs. You have Marshawn Lloyd. He's a transfer. 13 for 84. He has a touchdown. Also, you had Taj Washington, 8 for 117, a touchdown. Yeah, Brendan Rice had 2 touchdowns. Brendan Rice had 2 touchdowns. 5 for 81, 2 of them. And you also had Mario Williams had a touchdown. And also on Colorado side, Shedeur Sanders, 30 of 45, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. You had Anthony. You have Anthony Hankerson had 16 for 74 in the tub. Shedeur Sanders also had a rushing touchdown. But Marion Miller, the freshman, stepping up. 7 catches, 196 yards, and a touchdown. And Jimmy Horn, 8 for 84, 2 touchdowns. And you also had Michael Harrison scoring a touchdown. So your thoughts on this game? Chris?
Marion Miller, man. Like I see Key in the comments, but man, he's crazy. Like I was like, who is this guy? Like he was catching everything, and
Yeah.
like everything, and it's just his catch radius is insane. Like the way he lays out for catches and makes them at such a young age. He's only a freshman. I can't even imagine what he's going to be when he's a junior. So they, I feel like Colorado competed well. You know, they fought hard. They were now 48-21, I believe. They
Yep.
scored 3 straight points. You know, Coach Prime got them ready to play, and they competed hard. And this is only a sign of what's to come. That was a huge momentum swing for Colorado, like because they can prove they can compete with the high level teams, and they clearly could have beat USC if Travis Hunter would have played, if they would have done a couple things differently, made a couple more stops, managed the clock better, they could have beat USC. So that just shows me next year they're going to come in and they are going to beat USC. I believe that. I truly believe next year they will beat USC. They're going to use the transfer portal. They're going to get better. And for the remainder of this season, I look at their schedule. They can make a bowl game. And in my eyes, I mean, they can possibly go, 8-4, maybe 9-3. So I would just keep the hope with Colorado for sure.
Got you. So, Colorado did fall back well. Marion Miller, as you mentioned, made a big time impact in the game as a true freshman. And the last one we will actually cover is the Alabama versus Mississippi State game. You had Jalen Miro, didn't blow your stat sheet up off the roof with the passing yards, only 164, but he was 10 for 12. The rushing yards though, he had 11 carries, 69 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You had Chase McClellan, 15 for 1 touchdown as well, and Will Rogers, 3 interceptions. Goodness gracious, Will Rogers stunk in that game, and the 3 turnovers by Will Rogers. What happened to Will Rogers? It was one time last year we thought Will Rogers was a solid quarterback. He can shock some people coming into the NFL draft. Kind of be a little sleeper. Mid the second round, little steal a little bit. But what's going on with Will Rogers? Man, he stunk last week. What's going on with him, Chris?
Will Rogers, has kind of got exposed. Back to back over 35 touchdown seasons. I was like, man, Will Rogers, he can play in the NFL, like you said. But I mean, this year he hasn't played great. I heard a rumor that they're switching quarterbacks and they're benching him, and they're going to the Vanderbilt transfer of Mike Wright, who's pretty solid in his own right. But I think, I don't think he can handle the pressure. I remember watching the game where they played LSU. It was LSU at Mississippi State a week or two ago, and he just looked so out of it. He couldn't pass. He was making the right reads. He was overthrowing receivers. And I'm like, who is this? This is not the Will that I've known I've watched, and I really enjoyed watching Will. So it's sad to watch him kind of fall off that, but it happens, man. I mean, football is one of those things where you can suck one day and you can be great the next. So I think it's just about that consistency. One player I can kind of say that had similar fall off is Harold Perkins, the linebacker from the LSU. He's kind of really struggled this year, and you have to continue to grind to push success year after year. And I don't know if Will has done that. He's entering last year of college. So for him, it's like, okay, can I finish out the season strong? Maybe I can try to get to, over 60% completion percentage. Let me try to get to, 10 touchdowns. If I'm even starting. If I'm not starting, well, I need to figure out if I can have an extra year. If I don't, CFL, USFL, XFL, those are all options for Will right now, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Yeah, got you. In a game that I didn't notice, Arizona competing with Washington, 31-24. Man, Arizona gave Washington a fight. Michael Penix 30 of 40, 30 of 40, no touchdowns. Dylan Johnson had 2 touchdowns for the Washington Huskies. So Romeo Dunzane had 5 for 64. Shout out to Martin, our boy Martin, the other half of this morning show crew.
What's
Man,
going on, guys?
have a tough week this week, man. I know it's up kind of this week. Commanders got whooped up on a little bit, man. How you feeling this morning, man?
Bro, I am still pissed off that Thursday night game, to be honest with you. I didn't even do a video that night. I did a video yesterday. I was going off. I mean, everybody that I follow, everybody on Twitter, man, I'm over it, bro. I said it last year when he said he didn't know we had to make the playoff. I was done. I wanted him gone. And this is more evident this year. Within 5 games of the season, still the same thing. Bad decisions, all of that stuff. But I get into that on the NFL show. It's crazy. Today, the only thing gonna make it better, Miami wins today. And my Braves beat the Phillies today. So that's gonna ease the pain a whole lot more for me.
Hey, Miami, y'all get this one for my boy Martin, man. He already depressed about. I didn't expect that to even come. I ain't gonna lie on that one, but we was discussing. We recap basically most of the games last weekend, so I'm gonna run you back through them. Give me your thoughts on Colorado versus USC. Colorado did lose a close game, 41 to 48. Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams had a nice battle. But give me your thoughts upon that game for us. What you see.
Well, I picked you. Well, before the season, I picked Colorado to beat USC. But with the Travis Hunter incident, I wasn't sure how they were fair. I mean, after what happened with Oregon, I think it was going to be. I gave USC probably a touchdown 2 over them, but I wanted in my heart I wanted Colorado to win. And then how the game started, I was like, oh man, this ain't gonna be good. But don't guys turned it on in the second half, man. Came back. And shout out to Amari Miller, man, stepping in. Yep. I mean, that was the caveat that changed the game. The dude almost had almost 200 yards receiving in that game. Towards the end of the game, I think towards the end of the game or overtime? Towards the end of the game. Bad clock management. They had 3 minutes left, under 5 minutes. I don't know why it was running the ball. Don't know why it was running the ball. When you clearly passed on 4th and 5 to got the touchdown. You could have passed on the first play or the second play, you know what I'm saying, and then got the touchdown. Then you didn't even have to use the onside kick then. You could have just kick it deep. And then hopefully your defense stepped up. I mean, they was playing some pretty sound defense, especially in the passing game, even though they gave us some big yards. But McClain stepped up. He shut down Jerry Rice Jr. a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of good. I think now that once Travis Hunter comes back And now that Amari Miller stepped up, and then you got Weaver, Horn Jr., and that tight end 87, it's going to make that offense very prolific. The running game showed up for once. Shedeur finally did what I kept asking him to do, run
Yep.
out the pocket. You could hurt a team by running out the pocket. By you just sitting there and want to be a passer, we already know you got an arm. Start using that athletic ability to break some of these teams down. That's what Caleb Williams does. And that's what Bo Nix did. You know what I'm saying? Pence Jr., all of these guys, when there's nothing there, they break them down because then you make a defense play a whole totally different way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to go on the limb and say it. I gave Colorado a 9-3 record. But if they show what they show when Shallow and Hunter comes back, especially on the defensive end, 3 lockdown guys on the defensive end, and you got a 2-way guy that could play offense to give you more weaponry, I don't see them losing another game. Now, they could lose another game, but with that, just what I just described and the way the offense played against a USC team that, to me, I think has just about a worse defense than Colorado does.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't see them beating Oregon. I don't see them beating Notre Dame. That's just my opinion from USC.
Nah,
I think Colorado could run the table. They could run the table and finish strong.
okay.
If they build on what they showed last week with everybody the 2 guys coming back, I think they could do that.
Got you. So Arizona gave Washington a close game. Chris, start with you, man. Do you see some exposure right there from Washington that Arizona gave out a little bit?
No, because Washington throws the ball so much, and it's going to eventually happen, right? They're throwing the ball over 40 times a game. Like, what do you expect? You know, there's certain teams that kind of know what you're doing. And I think they have to establish the running game a little more, but I don't know. I feel like Washington will be just fine. I think it's going to be interesting, though, when they play really, really good secondaries. Like, if Washington play Miami right now, say Miami and Washington played each other, I think Miami will win by 3 scores. I really do. Miami had the best secondary in the country. It's not even close. So,
Facts on that.
you know.
Yeah, you know, that's something to make Martin smile right there. Yeah, that's something
Yes,
to
sir.
get it going.
Hey, I will be in Charlotte, North Carolina next weekend.
Oh.
Hey, there's a chance game day might be there too.
Oh, okay. So Martin, do you see some? Did you? I don't know if you actually paid attention to it, but did you see some kind of Arizona exposing Washington a little bit?
Yeah, just like Chris said, I think Arizona, like he said, Arizona gave USC a tough time, and Washington. I mean, this is going to be a pretty good test for them too. You know what I'm saying? To show what they can really do in this conference. Are they for real? You know, because this is where it gets down tough now. You starting to play a lot of conference player teams.
Yeah.
Is no more cupcake guys, no more blowing teams out. You're gonna have to grind these out. We already know what Oregon could do in this conference. They've done it couple years. We know what Utah, but even though Utah got their backs handed to them last week by Oregon State, but I still don't have faith in Oregon State. But Oregon State is a team that can probably grind you out to beat you. So if Washington wants to show that they could take that next step, because guess what? When you move to the Big Ten next year, there ain't going to be nothing, all of that. You're going to have to put a defense together. You're going to have to show something. So can Washington win this game? Yeah. But can they get had? Definitely.
Yeah, got you. So it was another game that I won. Oh, yeah. The other topic, Martin, that we was talking about.
Okay.
Michigan is a clear-cut the best team in the Big Ten, but a backup question is, who has a better shot of beating Michigan? Who can come closer in the Big Ten to beat Michigan?
Man, that's kind of hard. I mean, you're gonna have to say Ohio State because that's their rival. They have the Can they do it? I don't think they can, but I think Michigan is too well balanced.
Okay.
They very well balanced team, man. Jim Harbaugh, man. People don't understand. Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. He's a great. I put him up there. He's probably one of the right now in the nation, and he's probably like one of the top 5 coaches in the college football right now. Maybe top 3. You know what I'm saying? Um, I seen what he did with San Francisco 49ers when he coached that team. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? I mean, he was not that far from winning the Super Bowl with them.
Mm-hmm.
So can he take the next step? That's the question. Whether somebody in the Big Ten could beat them, because if Ohio State beats them at the end of the season, they might end up playing them again in the Big Ten championship game. So that's where the factor is. But if Michigan continues to roll, it's going to be hard to beat them, man, because they could grind you out, play them slow games, and if you give them a chance, they could put points up on you. So I seen it from them last year. They ran into a buzzsaw of Georgia. Georgia ain't the same team. So if Michigan feels like they got a chance to get this championship this year, it's gonna be hard for somebody. The only team I say come close. I don't think Penn State could deal with them. They smashed Penn State last year, like really bad. I think Ohio State has a chance, but I don't think. I mean, that's the only team I could see doing it. I don't see nobody else really. I think Ohio State has a chance, but can it happen? I don't think so.
All right. So we got will Georgia slow starts cost them? And the same question I basically asked Chris. Who's on that level in the SEC with Georgia? Who you giving the opportunity to? Because they do have, Kentucky at home today.
That's
And
not gonna be easy.
I know they do have them at home today. But if they get past Kentucky, who you think will beat them? Who you think will basically beat Georgia?
Let me look at that schedule real quick. I I mean, can Kentucky do what South Carolina and Auburn couldn't do? That's the question. Can they do that? Because I don't see Florida, I don't see Vanderbilt, Missouri. Now, Ole Miss is another tough week. Tennessee, those 2 games right there. Which Tennessee team gonna show up?
Yep.
Which Lane Kiffin team gonna show up? You know what I'm saying? These are opportunities for all of these other teams to knock Georgia out. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? This opportunity. If you think about it, South Carolina, Auburn won these games. That's 2 losses.
Yep.
They ain't no way. To me, I don't see them getting in there because I just didn't. Then you got Tennessee, like I said. Then you got Ole Miss. If Lane Kiffin can't beat this squad, why they look like that? Because the key is Brock Bowers, man. If somebody start hitting this dude,
Yep.
if you hit him, that's their bread and butter. When Georgia starts struggling against these teams, and in the second half they still struggle, they change. What they do? Start throwing the Travis Kelce 2.0. You know what I'm saying? And you look at the game last week, he was dragging these guys 4, 5, 6, 7 yards in the middle of the field. I was like, man, somebody got to come across the middle, just knock him down one time. He'll stop. So that's the key, slowing down Brock Bowers. I mean, because Georgia's defense is not that strong. They play decent, but you can't make mistakes. If you're going to beat a team like Georgia, you got to beat them. You can't get them opportunities. Can Kentucky do it today? Georgia's going to be geared up because Kentucky likes to run the ball. How well effectively they run the ball? If Kentucky effectively runs the ball on them, I mean, like effectively run the ball, I think Kentucky has a shot. They just can't make no mistakes against Georgia.
Got you. So we get to the good stuff, gentlemen. How about Oregon? A lot of reputation. Oregon could be the best team in the Pac-12, but you got USC down. I mean, we know Utah lost. They can be tough in situations like this. But Chris, who you give the nod to? USC, or Oregon in the Pac-12? Chris, who you giving that nod to? Yeah.
Oh, Oregon, 100%.
Okay.
100%. I think, yeah, I don't even need to explain myself. I think Oregon is clear cut right now. I don't think anyone who sits there on TV and says USC is a better team than Oregon doesn't watch football. Oregon is by far.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, yeah, I agree with that. I was gonna say Oregon too. Oregon is it's just well balanced, man. They like I said about Michigan, they well balanced. They're not gonna really beat themselves. And then you got a guy in Bo Nix that came from the SEC, could play pro style and up tempo in offense. So and their defense is nasty, man. People are not really talking about their defense. But the question is with Oregon all the time, when they come out the Pac-12 and they make it to the college playoff, how well they going to take that next step? They the best, like Chris said, Oregon is the best team in the Pac-12 by none because you've seen flaws with a lot of these other teams already. Utah has flaws, even though they play sound defense, but they can't put points. They struggle to put points up. USC could put points, but they can't stop nobody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So guess what's gonna happen? And then you get to an Oregon team that is put points up and stop you on defense. That could be easy a blowout quick. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think Dan Lanning is, he got that team playing very well, man. And they're not going. It's going to be hard to beat them because they're not going to beat themselves.
Got you. So we have Oregon. What? How you say this man name? Luther. Brett Berman. Burton.
Yes, I think it's Luther Bolden the third.
Luther Bolden the third.
Yes.
Sound like a Batman character.
Luther Bolden the third, the third best sophomore in the country. Chris, how you feel about that?
The third best sophomore in the country. Who the other two?
Yeah, I didn't get the other two names. I can't get the other two names, but right now they got him as one of the top, one of the best in the country, one of the best sophomores in the country.
Yeah, so if I'm a GM, I'm drafting him over Marvin Harrison.
Okay.
He has 400. Okay, when I look at wide receivers, I look at yards after catch. A lot of people like the crazy catches, but if you're a good wide receiver, you have to be able to get yards after the catch. Luther Bolden is number one over Brock Bowers in yards after catch at 412. That is absolutely crazy through 7 games to be 412 yards after catch. So he's an impact player. He's super special. I mean, like he reminds me a lot of Jalen Waddle. He really does. So I'm excited to see him in the NFL. I think he's going to be a NFL All-Pro, Pro Bowler, and Hall of Famer one day. To be honest.
Got you. Go ahead, Martin.
I don't really haven't know too much about him, but now I guess I'm gonna stop paying attention to him. But this to me, I used to play wide receiver and cornerback in high school. So, and I'm a little bit over 6'2". The thing about it is, with big tight wide receivers like Marvin Harrison, they're gonna have to learn how to run different routes in the NFL. It's not gonna always be on straight routes. Now, what Chris said about this guy, I'm looking at some highlights of him now from Missouri. I like wide receivers that can go deep and can go across the middle, and yards after catch is very, very important because that continues to move the chain. If you want a big play wide receiver, you're going to always kind of like try to throw it down the field all the time. And then if it's incomplete, then you put your team in second and long or third and long situations. So you need a crafty wide receiver. You look at what Deebo Samuels does in the NFL. Look what Curtis Samuels does for the Commanders. Look what Jalen Waddle. Look what Olave. Look what Wilson. They all do. Jahan Dotson. All of these guys. They move not just deep, but they move across the middle. They move the chain. You want a receiver that could, you know what I'm saying, to move the chain. And then yard, like I said, yards at the catch is more important to me than just hitting a home run all the time, you know. So I'll keep my eyes on him more. But the dude has moves. He's fast and crafty. You know, he reminds me a lot of all the receivers the small receivers I just named. He just has the knack for the ball, you know.
Yeah,
Fearless, goes up for it. I like it.
got you. So before we get into our picks, we got Shedeur Sanders, a unanimous coach in the Pac-12. This is a Pac-12 coach said
Mm-hmm.
this. If y'all can guess, it's fine. But Shedeur Sanders pads his stats. A unanimous coach from the Pac-12 said that Shedeur pad his stats. Mark, what your thoughts on that
Yeah.
unanimous coach saying that he pad his stats?
I mean, the guy goes out to play the game to win. I mean, your stats gonna get padded regardless because you got to stay in the game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the dumbest analogy I ever heard. You know, it's not like they blowing teams out and he's still staying in the game and stacking his stats. He's fighting to get his team in the game to win. I mean, so that's to me that's I don't get that. I mean, it's like saying Caleb Williams. I could see like what Caleb Williams he was down 37-3. Caleb Williams still was playing in the game because Oregon started coming back. Now, if Oregon had no fight to come back, Caleb Williams probably would have left the game. He wouldn't have had a chance to pad his stats over. And you know what I'm saying? So that analogy to me doesn't resonate well because I don't see how Shedeur padding his stats when he has to play in the game. I mean, the Oregon game was a blowout, but they kept him in. You know what I'm saying? But he still couldn't do nothing. He was getting hit all over the place. Me personally, Deion should have just pulled him out. But when you in the game and you fighting to come back and you making plays, that's not padding your stats
Yeah.
to me.
Like last week, if you want to say he padded stats, that would be insane because they came back. They damn near came back and won. And he bust his ass to get them back in the game. Every game, Colorado played, he tried to help his team win the game. Colorado State, they were down in that game. He came back and put them and fought back and won the game. But Chris, go ahead, give me your thoughts on that coach. But he's from the Pac-12. He coaches in the Pac-12. Don't have the name of it. I don't know if it's Oregon coach that said that said it, but it's a coach from the Pac-12, a unanimous coach from the Pac-12. But go ahead, Chris.
So I'll say this, right? I don't think he pads his stats, but I do think I love Deion, I love Shedeur. I think they're my two favorite in college football. But he holds on to the ball way, way, way too long. And that does, believe it or not, cost them a lot of points off the board. I mean, he's taking sacks left and right. And part of it, the offensive line is atrocious. But there were a couple plays where I'm like, Shedeur, why are you running? He's running for negative yards. He runs all the way back. I think one of the games he had negative 16 rushing yards. He's running, trying to make a play, and he takes a sack. And you can't afford that. You can't. So he needs to learn to throw the ball away. Because if they throw the ball away, like, they would be fine. I feel like they could score a lot more points. I feel like they could score, I would say, 14 to 21 more points if he doesn't take those stats. I feel like they could have, the game against Oregon wouldn't be 42-6. It would have been like 42-25 if he did it. Because those are drive killers. They really are. They're momentum killers. So Shedeur just needs to learn that. But I don't think he's padding the stats. I think that's not what he meant to say, but I think he combined a fact with his hate for Deion and put it into something to kind of hurt Shedeur in that way. But he's not padding his stats. He holds on to the ball too long.
I agree with that. I mean, that is because I see this. I'm gonna use Sam Howell as an example. He does the same thing. There's chances that Washington could run up and down the field, but he holds the ball. When you have a quarterback that has some slight decisive issues to going through their progression, I it hurts the team more because you are taking unnecessary sacks. You are taking unnecessary hits. That's why I say when these guys have that ability, the athletic ability to move out the pocket, don't just sit there and just like wait for your guy to get open. Move, and then your guys will follow you. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes do it all the time. Patrick Mahomes don't hardly ever take sacks because he's crafty enough to get out the pocket. He moves on the run. You could hurt a team so bad when you move out the pocket. If in that, like Chris said, in that Oregon game, if he moved out the pocket a lot, it could have changed the dynamic of how Oregon was going to attack him. He could have had some big plays. It could have been, 25, 30 points on the board, make it more respectable. Hey, if he did it in the USC game, he started doing it in the second half. If he did it early on in the game, they would have had that game. They could have probably won that game by 7 or 10 points.
Yep.
So this is something Dion had, he gotta, for him, Dion, to be around great quarterbacks in the NFL and, using Tom Brady as a pillow to mentor Shedeur, he really needs to study these NFL quarterbacks, especially like a Lamar Jackson. Lamar does not hold on to the ball. Sometimes he does, but when he sees there's an opening to take off, he's going to take off, or he's going to move around. So it's a learning curve for him. I think he will learn a better. But the pad and stat situation, I just don't get it. I really don't. So,
All right. So we get to the grit and grind of this show, the picks. Chris, you won last week. So let's see, can you defend your title this weekend? So we got the game of the day, the game that everybody wants to see, Red River Rivalry, Oklahoma versus the Longhorns. Chris, you already gave me your pick pretty much earlier, so you going with OU today. All right, Mark, go ahead. Give me your pick.
I like Quinn Ewers. I like them since last year. I really wanted them to beat Alabama. I think this is gonna be a good one.
Okay.
I want to see how good Brent Venables' defense is.
Okay.
You're playing your rival team, and a team that got pretty sound offense. So I'm going with.
All right. So Texas for you. All right. So we got 5-0 Maryland going into the shoe and playing Ohio State. Martin.
Ooh, man. As much as I want Ohio State to lose, Maryland, what they have done this season is very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. Let's go. Like I say, when you play these teams, man, you're gonna have to. If you have a chance to put them away, put them away. But I'm going with Ohio State on a slim margin.
Oh, okay. You're going with Ohio State. Ohio State today. So, all right, go ahead. Chris, who you picking?
Man, honestly, Maryland is coming in with a chip on their shoulder. Last year at College Park, that was one of the most insane college football games I've seen in a while last year when Maryland played Ohio State. Tulia Tagovailoa, this is his last year in college. He's playing out of his mind. In my opinion, I think Ohio State will win this game, but 19.5 at the point spread, I think that's so disrespectful.
That's ridiculous.
Ohio State. 100%.
Yeah, got y'all.
Before you go to the next one,
go ahead.
Since this is Tua brother last year,
yeah,
don't be surprised he goes with Brian Daboll to the the Giants.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we got another big matchup, SEC. LSU going to Missouri and play number 21 Missouri, who's 5-0. Chris, will they stay undefeated today, or will LSU come in and get a big time victory?
Okay, so Brady Cook, he hasn't turned over the ball yet. LSU, their defense is bleeding. Unfortunately, one of the top defensive players is out for I think the rest of the season, or he might even be a career-ending injury. I believe he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, so prayers out to him. But LSU secondary is bleeding. I mean, they just don't have a defense. Missouri didn't expose that. My only issue is can Missouri defense keep up with LSU's offense and Jaden Daniels? I don't know. So if I have to make a pick in this game, it's going to be really, really difficult. But I'm going with the Missouri Tigers to beat the LSU.
All right, gotcha. So you going with Missouri? Martin, who you going with?
I think that the LSU lost a heartbreaker last week,
Yep.
and they might be feeling some type of way. Do they have enough energy, to put that game behind them to muster up and play on a team that's pretty hot right now? Can Jaden Daniels and LSU make enough plays? I don't know. And I'm going with the upset again. I'm going with Missouri.
Okay, going with Missouri. Got you. So you going with Missouri. All right. So Boston College, Chris, BC Eagles going to Army to play Army. Chris, go ahead.
If we don't win this game by more than 14 points, I won't be a BC fan anymore. Man. Like, we cannot lose to military school.
I'll be watching that one closely too. Go ahead, Chris.
I just found out our starting right tackle is going to miss the game, which will really suck. But I mean, Tyler Castellanos should have a really good game. I'm expecting 200 passing yards, or Thomas Castellanos 200 passing yards, maybe 100 rushing yards. He should have a really strong game. So I'm expecting big things from him.
Go ahead, Mike.
Man, Chris, I want to root for your team, man. I got I like BC. I always been
Don't tell me you finna do that. Don't tell me you finna do what I think you gonna do.
Oh man, what's the line? What's the line?
Do it. I think you finna do it. I know it's coming. I think you finna do it too. I know it's coming.
Man, BC going to beat Army.
Right,
Army going to the AAC, so I'm going with BC. I gotta still go with my ACC teams, man. I still gotta rep them,
Chris might be crying in the group chat. This game is lost. Boy, Chris, you may not hit him. So we got Western Michigan going to Mississippi State. Martin, who you got?
Say that again.
Western Michigan going up against Mississippi State at Mississippi State.
Oh, that's Mississippi State all day, man. I mean, Western Michigan beat them. That's something wrong.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
I'm stuck on this game. Mississippi State will win, but I don't know by how much. I don't think it's going to be by 20 points. I think Mississippi State will win, but I want to know who Mississippi State starts at quarterback. I'm really interested to find that out.
Gotcha. All right, so we got a Big Ten matchup. Rutgers going to Wisconsin. Chris, who you got?
Oh, I think Rutgers, 100%. I think Rutgers is going to shock Wisconsin today.
All right.
I love the defense. I think their defense is super strong.
Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, I like Rutgers too, even though they ran into Michigan, but hey, that it happens. So I definitely I'm going with Rutgers on this one.
All right, so we got William and Mary 4-1 going up against 0-5 Virginia. Virginia's that bad of a football team.
Good Lord.
Chris, go ahead.
I think Virginia is actually like a lot better than their record is. They're really bad, don't get me wrong. But I mean William and Mary is 4-1. So don't sleep on William and Mary, man. I know a lot of these sports books are gonna try to tell you that, William and Mary are not that good. They are pretty good. They got destroyed last game though. But I don't know. I think I'd like Virginia to win this game, but it'll be a close one.
Okay.
Close.
All right. Go ahead, Martin.
Well, Virginia has to win this game because they own what 5.
Yep.
If they lose to William Mary, I think that coach will get fired today. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go with the upset, William and Mary.
All right, got you. He said I'll go with William. All right. Oh my goodness. All right, so Mark got William right there. Okay. All right, so you got Toledo versus Massachusetts. Chris, who you got?
UMass all the way, man. We need this one. I'm a UMass fan too, so
You're a UMass fan? Okay.
Yeah. So we need this game. I'm a UMass, Holy Cross, and BC fan, so UMass is one of my teams. We've had a rough couple years, but we're 1-5. We suck, but I think we can win this game.
Go ahead, Martin.
I'm going with Toledo.
You go with Toledo. All right.
Yeah, I'm going with Toledo. Toledo's a pretty good team.
All right.
The only time I used to root for UMass was in college football back in the day.
Yeah.
With Marcus Camby.
I feel you on that one. So here we go. We got the Marshall Thunder and Herd 4-0 going to NC State. Martin, who you picking?
Man, Marshall, didn't they beat on Virginia Tech?
I think they did.
They 4-0.
They 4-0.
Yeah, I'm going with Marshall on this one then.
Okay.
NC State doesn't look too good to me this year. I mean, they usually have a pretty good team when they play against Clemson and all of them, but this year they just don't look as strong as I would like for them to be.
Okay. All right, Chris, who you got in this game?
Marshall had the best running back in the country, Rasheen Ali. Watch Rasheen Ali today, bro. He's gonna go crazy. I got Marshall winning this game.
Gotcha.
Although NC State didn't make a quarterback change. They're starting MJ Morris, who I said should have started from day one. But that will help. But I still think Marshall will win this game.
All right. Gotcha. So we got UTSA going up against Temple. Chris, who you got?
Temple. I got Temple winning this game.
All right. Martin, who you got?
UTSA.
Gotcha. You got UTSA. Gotcha. All right. So y'all got some different picks here. I like that. So we got Central Michigan versus Buffalo. Chris, who you picking?
Buffalo. I love Buffalo. I'm not a Buffalo fan, but I know a lot of players who's been coached by their coach, and I think he's a great coach. I think he was great when he was the DB coach at A&M. He's a great defensive mind. Buffalo, for sure.
All right. Mark, go ahead.
Don't know too much about this game. These two teams, but I guess dang it, man. Dang it.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah, go with Buffalo.
So all right, so we getting into the meat and potatoes right here. This is the sweetness right here. All right. So you got Washington State going into UCLA. Play the UCLA Bruins. Martin, who you picking?
And they got this -3. It's gonna be a close one. Man, Washington State has looked really good this year. Really, really good. UCLA been playing all right. So this is the undefeated team going against a 3-1 team. What can UCLA and Chip Kelly do over there? I don't know, but D Moore stats for UCLA. He's just under 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Ward almost 1,300, 13 touchdowns. So with that being said, I'm going with the Washington State.
Gotcha. Martin, who you picking?
Oh, I got Washington State.
I mean, my bad. Gotcha. Chris, who you got?
Oh, Washington State for sure. I agree with mine 100%. UCLA starting a freshman quarterback, Dante Moore. He's inexperienced. He needs to learn how to play football, and it's going to take him a whole offseason to do so. And Cam Ward is by far, a top 3 quarterback in the country. So
That ain't even close, yo.
yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so we got Virginia Tech going into Florida State to play Florida State. Martin.
No, they ain't no chance in hell. Virginia Tech. It is horrible, man. If Virginia Tech had looked like Virginia Tech a few years ago, I was like, yeah. But Florida State is a 24-point favorite. Now, what they cover, don't know, but they definitely is going to beat Virginia Tech down. They 2-3.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
So I'll tell you one thing about Virginia Tech. They're bad. Don't get me wrong. They're actually really, really bad. But they have a quarterback that I'd love to watch, and I might be the only fan of him. But his name is Kyron Jones. He's transferred from Baylor. He's starting over with Grant Wells, who's actually transferred from Marshall, and he's way better, by the way. He's thrown 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's going to run the ball really well. He had a really high completion percentage. So watch out, man. I think he can definitely play ball. Another option they have a quarterback is someone who's from my home state, who played against my high school last year, William Pop Watson. But unfortunately, he decided to get arrested, so he can't play. And I was really looking forward to watching him play because I think he's going to be – he, in my eyes, is the next Michael Vick. Now, that's probably – I'm biased because he lived in my state. But I think Kyron Jones – is good enough to cover the 23 spread. I'm not betting on this game, but it's not my money to lose. So I like Florida State to win the game, but not by 23, by 14.
All right. And by the way, I know that Kyron Jones kid, he's from Houston, played at Shadow Creek High School. So representing Houston, Kyron Jones. So so here we go. We got another big one, man. In the SEC. You got Alabama going to A&M to play in it. A&M. Alabama don't got the best history going now because last time they went there, they got beat going there. It was a close game last year when A&M was really bad. All right, Chris, who you taking? Will Alabama get beat again in College Station?
That's hard. It's really difficult for me to say. Alabama is the better team than A&M right now, but A&M is a better defense. So overall, Alabama is better, but A&M does have a better defense. I want to see this is going to tell me how good of a quarterback Jalen Milroe really is because I don't know what to think of him. One day he looks like, the next second coming of Donovan McNabb, or maybe Steve McNabb, better comparison, and then the next day he just looks like Jay Cutler. So I don't know what to think of him. But I think that this is going to tell a lot. I think A&M, they have a great team. Anais Smith, Noah Johnson, who I believe is out for the season actually. But Moose Muhammad, I want to see Moose Muhammad get more involved. He was a big piece for them last year. And now he's on a 2 deep for some reason. But this is a huge game for them. I got A&M winning this game, though. I think A&M is going to pull it out.
Got you. Got A&M. Chris going for A&M. Martin, who you picking?
I don't like Alabama. I want them to lose as every time whoever they play. I definitely think A&M. Even though they lost to my Canes, which but I think their defense has proven they play subtle. Alabama they having that season too, just like. Some of these other teams, which team going to show up? Now they finally settled on the quarterback position right now. So I think that me personally, I'm gonna go with A&M. I don't like Alabama. I'll pick against them every chance I get. I think A&M could do something that Lane Kiffin failed to do a couple of weeks ago, is to beat Alabama. So and Jimbo and Nick don't have the best relationship. So if Jimbo could beat them, that's a feather in his cap for the next offseason.
Gotcha. So we got the 4-1 Syracuse Orange going into 4-0 Chapel Hill to play North Carolina Tar Heels. Martin, who you got in this game?
Man, oh, I don't want North Carolina to lose because I need that. I need to smash them next weekend.
Oh,
So I already been reading reports on it that um
Martin went into another dimension over there. Chris, go ahead and take the pick right quick until Chris
So
get.
I mean, I'll be honest, man. If North, my birthday's coming up, so if North Carolina win this game and college game day happens to
yeah,
be in North Carolina, I may need to take the 2 hour plane ride myself to go down to the game. Now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, it's not bad, but I want to watch Jake May in person. That would be awesome. But no, I think Syracuse is a really good team. I think they have horrible coaching. Like I think their
Yeah,
coaching is so
yeah.
bad. They should have that Clemson game could have been a lot closer. But I think North Carolina had this game. I think it's gonna be close though. It's gonna be a fun game to watch for sure. 28-23. North
All right,
Carolina.
Martin, go ahead.
yeah, I think it's gonna be close, but I was saying that I need North Carolina to lose because if North Carolina lose and knowing that Miami's coming in there, that's gonna be so much pressure for them to try to win that game. And Miami could get them another second loss if Syracuse pull out the upset today. But what I was alluding to earlier is that if North Carolina wins and Miami wins today, and they said that they're gonna change the time of their game for next week, and most likely college game day gonna be there. So can Syracuse beat them? Because they should have beat. They should have played. They played enough against Clemson, but they should have played way better to beat Clemson. I just don't think Clemson is strong enough to me. And um, oh man, dang it! What my heart over my head, dang it. I'm gonna say Syracuse for the upset,
Okay,
just because.
gotcha. All right, so Martin got Syracuse for the upset right now. You got Cuse for the upset. All right, so we got 5-0 teams. We got Kentucky going against Georgia in Atkins. Martin, who you picking?
Man, this should be a good game. I mean, Kentucky 5-0. They have been playing good. They've been running the ball excellently. I mean, can they be able to run that ball the same against a Georgia defense that has not been very impressive? Can Kentucky be able to stop Brock Bowers? Can they get pressure on the quarterback? Them all the questions that Kentucky needs to answer because I don't care what you do, don't try to get in this dog fight race with them trying to score tick for tack. Play your game. If you're going to play time of possession, run the ball, grind the clock out, keep them Georgia off the field, not letting them get Brock Bowers involved, you have a chance to beat them. But like I said, Georgia's a two-time national champion. They not really gonna beat themselves. They
Yep.
may make mistakes, but it's up to you to take the opportunity to do it. So with that being said, man, I want to pick Kentucky, but I can't. I think Georgia's still gonna win this game.
All right, so you going with Georgia. All right, go ahead, Chris. Who you
Man,
pick?
can we just sit back and talk about how good of a college football slate this is today? Like today's
Yeah,
about to
oh,
be
this is great, man. This is
this
awesome.
is amazing. I mean, my cousins are coming to visit me today, man. If they're watching this, like, get out of my house in 2 hours, man. I'm trying
Yeah,
to watch the games. Like, I'm so locked in today, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky's winning this game, man. Kentucky's gonna go and shock the world today. I
Uh-oh.
said it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Ray Davis. Ray Davis is a great running back. He's gonna run all over Georgia. Watch.
I like that.
I
Okay, I
like
like
that.
that. Like that pick. Like it. Like ain't no wrong with getting you upset up and down. Ain't no wrong with that. Right there. So all right, so here we go. We got Michigan going into Minnesota to play the Golden Gophers. Chris, go ahead. Who you rolling with?
Oh, Michigan, 100%. I think PJ Fleck in Minnesota have fallen so bad. It's unbelievable. But nah, Michigan all the way.
All right, Martin, you taking Michigan.
And yeah, I'm gonna take a Michigan. Kirk Cousins playing today.
You can
No,
make your cousin play
no, Michigan gonna beat them, man. They gonna handle them jokers like they've been doing everybody else.
All right, so you got 2 and 3 Arkansas going to Ole Miss. Is this one of the? Could these be one of these games that Ole Miss post to win and don't win, or could this be a game? This could either be a game that Ole Miss handles business. Martin, give me a pick. Who you got?
Oh, Ole Miss. Man, I don't have no faith in Lane Kiffin. I mean, to be honest with you, this dude he has had opportunities to really show that he's ready for the next level. I mean, he be having good teams, but I mean, Arkansas is 2-3. A lot of people had high hopes for them in the beginning of the
Yeah,
season.
they did. They did. Yo.
And Ole Miss, they lost one game. I mean, they went into an overtime thriller against LSU last week. So that, I mean, I don't see them. I really don't see Arkansas beating them. Even though I don't have faith in Lane Kiffin, I think they'll take care of business. They what 13-point favorite? Yeah, they'll take care of business today.
All right, Chris.
I was so excited for Arkansas this season, man. I thought they were gonna make a New Year's Six Bowl, man. Their quarterback KJ Jefferson, 6'3", 250, absolute monster. He wrote a long post before the season. I'm coming back one more year to chase my childhood dream of winning a national championship. I'm like, man, I was all in, and they've just really disappointed me this season. I mean, to be honest, they suck. They are so bad on offense. Like, I don't know what's going on with Arkansas. Raheem Rocket Sanders, I had him on my board as a first round pick. He's fallen way off of that. He might not even be drafted at this point. So I don't know what to say about Arkansas. I think Ole Miss will win this game, but to say 11 points is insane to me in an SEC matchup. Like, sometimes I don't think these people who make like the lines look at SEC. When you're playing the SEC, it's different. Any team can beat any team. So I think Ole Miss has this game, but it's going to be by 4 points, not by 11.
Got you, man. We got a couple more games before we enjoy our football Saturday, but these games right here, top 25 is different today. We got Notre Dame going to Louisville. Louisville is 5-0. Will Notre Dame survive that going into Louisville 5-0? Chris, will Notre Dame come out of that with a victory?
So I think they will.
Okay.
But it scares the hell out of me. Last night, I was so high on Kansas State against Oklahoma State. I'm like, man, Kansas State's about to roll over Oklahoma State tonight. And that did not happen. So I stay away from night games on the road. Those are dangerous. That can be a trap game. Louisville has a good enough defense to make a couple stops against Notre Dame. The only issue with Louisville, they are so inconsistent on offense. The turnover. If you look at their turnover, the touchdown margin, I believe it's like 3-2. It's not good at all. So I like Notre Dame to win this game. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame 30, Louisville 23. I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch.
All right. Go ahead, Mark.
I think Notre Dame will win. I think they know they let one get away with the Ohio State situation, and they got a couple of other tough games on their schedule that they don't want to fall by the wayside if they're trying to get up into that college playoff talk. So I do believe they will beat Louisville. I think Louisville has been playing really good football this year. But I think Notre Dame has something to prove. Like I said, if they lose this game, that's 2 losses. All hopes is done. No more talk about any college playoff. All they can do is play spoilers from this here on out with everybody else.
Yep.
But if they want to show, against a really good Louisville team, then they're gonna have to go in there and handle business. So I'll pick them in a close game.
All right. So we already know who we got. Martin, who you picking? You already know. You got your Georgia Tech going into the U Miami. I already know.
Oh, well, they about to break out
Yeah, let me write.
them club night jerseys tonight. That black with that line, that green and orange. Tyler Van Dyke has been impressive. The defense, we get Cam Kitchens back tonight. I think the tight end Elijah Arroyo is going to play tonight. And I think Miami. I think because Georgia Tech switched up their defense.
Yeah.
So they trying to throw Miami off, but I think Miami is going to feel them out before they start punching them in the mouth. I think it's going to be a feel out quarter, the first quarter. But if I'm telling you, I think I see Miami going for another 40-point game against them today.
Got you. Chris, who you got?
Man, Martin, I just gotta say, man, Miami's a great team, but they have their fan base, man. Like, they need to start being undefeated the way they are. They need to start packing that
Yeah.
when they play at Hard Rock. But I hope they build a stadium on campus in a couple years. But Miami's great. I think they're going to beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has a surprisingly decent quarterback in Haynes King. 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Like, he's pretty good. Transfer from A&M. But Miami's secondary, man, like I said, I love watching their secondary play. They play defense the old school way, the way I love watching defenses. Their defense is so dominant. I'm not going to try to compare them to the 2001 Miami defense.
Yeah.
But this might be the greatest defense Miami has had in the last 10 years, I will say. So I love watching them. I think Miami's going to win this game. I think it's going to be 40-22, Miami.
Got you. So we got Fresno State 5-0 going into a tough Wyoming squad. Chris, who you picking?
Oh, here we go. Fresno State. I think Fresno State's going to be my Wyoming. I love Fresno State's quarterback, Mike Keene. He's awesome. He's so fun to watch. But Fresno State has this game, I think.
Martin?
Yeah, I always like Fresno State. So I think Wyoming, even though Wyoming could be one of them teams that do what they do, but Fresno State, I like them. They've always been very competitive. I could go back to the years when they had that overtime thriller, I think, against USC back in the day.
Yep.
So, but I'm going with them Fresno Bulldogs.
All right. So we got Oregon State 4-1, 15 in the nation, going against Cal Golden Bears, who are 3-2. Martin, who you picking?
Oh man, DJ, he's been pretty solid. Not great, but he's been managing the game very well. Oregon State do have a pretty decent defense. Oregon State's offense will put up points, but I just think that Cal is just not gonna have they're not gonna be able to play well against Oregon State. I think Oregon State, now if they don't come in there with that, beating Utah and have a big head about it, but I think they 3-2, Cal's 3-2, they 4-1. I think Oregon State will pull this out. It's a 7.5-point favorite, so they'll cover that spread.
All right, got you. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Oregon State will definitely cover the spread. They have a good defense, good running game. Cal's not good. I think Cal is on their third quarterback of the year. They started with Sam Jackson from TCU. Then they went to Ben Finley, who's Ryan Finley's younger brother from NC State. And now they're going to a redshirt freshman who I don't even know. So, yeah, no. Oregon State all the way.
All right, last game of the night, fellas, before we draw our football Saturday. We got Arizona who gave goddamn Washington a run for their money. Going into the Coliseum, USC. Chris, do you see them giving USC a run, or do you see it getting out of hand?
Pac-12 after dark. This is the last year of that, so I want to say Arizona State can hang some points on USC, or Arizona can hang some points. I think they'll score over 30 on USC for sure. I think USC will win the game, but it'll be a nice game. It'll be fun to watch. It's one of those where it's like the night is over, you're so tired, but I'll probably tune in for a little bit. I think USC has this game though.
All right, Martin.
Caleb Williams shows out after dark. You know what I'm saying? He might think it's a party, you know what I'm saying? About to go to a club, so
I already know.
Yeah.
All right, got you right there. So that's the picks of predictions for Martin and Chris. They got some different ones, but other than that, we'll see who Chris came out on the edge. We'll see can Martin come out on the edge and overtake him this week. So other than that, man, shout out to everybody that came through the channel today. Man, Martin, tell the people they can follow you at.
You can find me on YouTube, Livewire Sports Media. Also, you can find me every Saturday morning here on College Football Saturday Showdown with Coach Dante and Chris. And you can find me tonight. I'll be on the NFC Beast talking past week's NFL football. And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well.
Got you. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I know you can find me on the Shady Sports Network. I'll be here every Saturday, and hoping to start doing some streams on Twitch through the Shady Sports Twitch, doing some Madden, Call of Duty, or whatever. But yeah, enjoy the College Football Saturday. This is the start of something great. The next couple of weeks are going to be high action, high volume. It's going to be awesome to watch. So sit back and enjoy.
Got y'all. So man, that's for your boy Coach Dante. As for your boy Martin and your boy Chris. Y'all enjoy your college football Saturday this week, man. We'll see y'all later.
All right.